Alrighty, so this is the 9mm setup, and if you notice, it's got a narrow hose. There is no split in the top of that, and we use a 1/2 inch inside diameter, and we got a hose clip that we manufacture for that. And we use that for the 9mm 223 and 300 blackout. The primary reason for that is because the 223 tends to get hung up in that larger tube, and the 9mm tend to get hung up down at the base coming out of that larger tube. So we use a smaller inside diameter tube, which we will be sending along with your setup. Anyway, we're going to change this out to a 223, which means we're also going to change out the case pusher head. So let's get started on that. First thing I'm going to do, pop the hose out. I've pre-loosened these nuts just because no need to sit here and just watch me undo nuts all day. Okay, set this aside. Okay, let's take off the spring. I will take off the case pusher head first. Didn't pre-loosen this one, obviously. Okay. Take the larger wrench. Now, the first time you take this off, it's going to be really tight because they really crank it down good and they put Loctite blue on there. So it's going to be very tight. Don't get too nervous if you're really cranking on that thing in order to get it off. Okay, we're going to set that tool head aside. All right. Now we'll finish up taking off the disc. Okay. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to put on the 223 disc. We're going to crank this guy down a little bit because we're going to actually run this guy. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I just leave one of these finger tight. The other three are cinched down, but it makes it a little bit easier to get on and get off. Now, there is a washer that comes underneath this case pusher head that goes on the bottom. I tend to run the bolt through, run it through the washer. Okay, and I find the hole, and we'll crank that guy down. Oop, that's all right, we're gonna need that anyway. Okay. And I just find it easier to use my wrench to put this guy back on. Even though I'm not gonna cinch this down tight, I just use the wrench just because it's easier to kind of get the bolt going in the hole. And I am gonna take this down to where it needs to be. And that really is just down to a point where that spring is just riding on the outside. It really does not have to be tight at all. I follow Dillon's color coding where I can. So 223 is white, the 9mm was green, 308 is red. Unfortunately, the 45 ACP I had to make gray because two red ones that kind of look the same is a little confusing. So I'm going to take the top bolt first, usually, just as a matter of personal habit. I don't think there's any particular reason why you have to, but it's just personal preference for me. Okay, come on, get in there. There we go. And once again, these guys just need just a little cinching, nothing terrible, just a little something just to tighten it up a hair, maybe just a little bit more. There we go. This, once again, will be necessarily tight so that it holds the tube taut. Now, let's turn on the case pusher, and when I do, or turn on the case feeder, and when I do, I'm going to move this case pusher head around so that it doesn't allow that to come down and bounce off the bottom. So let's get started. And once it gets 3 or 4, then I just let it go down. Good. Now that case pusher head works for both 223 and 308, so you just need the one head for either one. But we use the larger head because it helps avoid tipping of the brass, or the larger, the longer rifle brass. So I've got like 2 hands full in there just to give you a general idea how it works. After a few minutes, it's kind of like watching paint dry. So it just consistently puts it where it needs to go. There's not a lot of adjustment that's needed. The adjustments have already been planned into the drop tube assembly. And at the very end, I like to just kind of give a little flick. Right. That clears everything out.